All right. So yeah, welcome everyone. I'm so excited. And then people will just kind of just join us as they come. I'm really excited about this 3 days, like I was saying, because we're looking at three concepts that are just dear to me that I have been meditating on, and I want 2020, I want to live in it in 2026. And so as I'm sharing it with you, I'm sharing with myself. I want to go back and listen to the audio, to the recording after this myself, because this is something I just want to marinate on. I want it to become a part of 2026 for me. And so I'm sharing it with you. I'm going to give you uh 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 you know a what is it audience in this so that we can all participate in it. All right. So there's a story. Well, I have a story behind it. The three concepts we're looking at uh, are serendipity, synergy, and symbiosis. It, we couldn't put those. The original flyer had those three terms on them, and then people were like, "Dr. Marino, nobody's gonna get this. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why are you, let's just put something about changing your life in 2026. What is all this serendipity and symbiosis, and what is all of that about?" But those are the three concepts we're going to break down today, because it's really about breakthroughs. It's really about living in a different space. And so what's a better time to actually talk about this than at the beginning of a new year, right? So welcome everyone. If you're just joining us, put down where you're from in the chat box. Let's see where you're from in the chat box. From across the globe. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Thrive 2026. All right, Thrive 2026. We do this every year. So I'm glad to see how many of you have attended at Thrive before. Put it in the chat box if you have attended at Thrive before this. But Sayu, I see you. I'm going to make you a co-host for this. You don't Nobody needs to let anyone in, because I think I already took off the the weight room. So, welcome to day one. I'm going to share a PowerPoint briefly with you. I'm not going to talk through the PowerPoint because I want it to be experiential. So, but I'm going to just give you a little, for those of you who love PowerPoints, let me share that with you now, and then we'll start, okay? Actually, we have already started. Welcome. So let me find the PowerPoint, which I think I had it. I have so many of them. So, all right. Okay. Yes, I'm setting that up for you. If you're just joining us, please tell us where you're located. I have to be careful when I say where you're from, because when I say where you're from, people think I'm asking about their place of origin. I'm asking, where are you located? All right. So we're going to look at this breakthrough triad today in Thrive 2026. That's my goal. Like I said, I'm so excited about this. This is something I've been pondering for since this actually no, I said December. That is not true. I've been pondering this since October. When did I go to the UK? When did I go to the UK? I think November. I've been pondering this since November. All right, and I'll tell you why. And then here we go. So the purpose is we're going to activate collective power. We're going to welcome unexpected breakthroughs. Okay, build relationships that grow stronger together, and turn connections into shared success. That is the purpose of this workshop today. All right. And in day one, which is today's day one, we're going to talk about serendipity. So, serendipity is making space for the unexpected. Day two, which is tomorrow, we will talk about synergy. Synergy is a multiple impact through alignment, that things become aligned in your life. And then day three, symbiosis. And when we're talking about that, it's you know the word symbiotic. Well, the symbiotic is the adjective. This is the noun. So this is about growing together, not doing it alone. This means that you can be in parts of something that are not necessarily the same, but they can all work together for you. So, and the whole idea is what we call breakthrough moments, right? Things just begin to happen. So that's the core themes for today. And so, I mean, for the 3 days. And then for those of you who saw my TikTok on personality disorders, and you registered for the healing component of that, we're going to do that on Saturday. So if you didn't watch my Instagram or TikTok talks on personality disorders, you might want to go take a look at them. And if you live with someone with a personality disorder, if you just want to learn about it and you want to know how to heal from that or how to manage it effectively, come on Saturday. That's what Saturday is for. All right. So today it's serendipity. That's what we're talking about today. That is the goal of today. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute and then we'll talk. All right. Um, I like to, I don't like to, I like to see everybody else. So uh, please make sure that you're making your comments and I'll try to take a look at it. If you're just joining us, uh, just share with us where you're joining us from. And if you've ever attended a Thrive, let us know that too. I want to know who is with us. Yeah. So welcome everyone. If you have not been a part of Thrive before, this is our Thrive 2026, and we are excited to have you. Yes, all right. Twin Ibadan in the house. Let me see all the people, all the places we have in the house. All right. So we have, okay, let me start from the beginning. All right, all right. Nigeria, Florida, yes, Pensacola. That sounds like winning. Yes, that's winning. Uh, Gina from Ghana, of course. Welcome, welcome. Uh, Grace Alexander from London. Yes. Lara, I am from Houston, Texas. All right. Wait, Houston. Lara, I thought is the Lara from Houston? I thought you were Lara from London. Welcome. Bumi from London. Here we go. Essex in the house. Lagos in the house. UK. Lagos. Jos in the house. Welcome. Ibadan, Nairobi. Woohoo! Kenya in the house. Always welcome, Steve. Abuja in the house. There we go. Here we go. Lagos. Okay, all right, all right. Welcome everyone. If you're just joining us, please make sure you put your where you're located. Let's know where you're at, where you're from. All right. I would like to know who is in the house with us. All right. So, like I said, this is Thrive 2026, and I'm going to tell you a story. It's something that happens to, it's something that probably you've experienced before. Have you ever experienced a time in your life where you weren't expecting something and it just kind of happened? Or you were thinking about somebody and they just showed up? Have you ever experienced something, like maybe you didn't even pray about it. It's not something that you were really pursuing, and things just kind of just led you to it. All right. That is what serendipity looks like. So I was in the UK, a few months ago, and he was thinking about a friend of mine, and we talked. Are we going to see him? Are we not going to see him? Blah blah blah. And of my friend and I was leaving that night, and my friend and I decided to go to lunch, and she said, "What do you feel like eating?" I said, "You know what? I would like some sushi." I said, "I would like some sushi." And she was like, "Sushi?" Ugh. I said, "Yeah, I can't actually, this last year, I became a sushi person. That I enjoy it." And so we were at one of your Westfield malls. There, I can't remember which one. And she said, "Well, actually, let's go downstairs. There's some restaurants downstairs, and we'll decide what you want." So we went through all of the different restaurants. You guys, there's a Thai place, there's a this place, but then there was this sushi place. I said, "Oh, there you go. Let's go to the sushi place." And so we went to this. So we entered, nice restaurant. We entered, we got seated, and we were eating. We were eating, well, we were getting ready to order. And she said, "Look," I think she said, "Look straight to that table in front of you." And I looked at the table in front of me that was like not adjacent. And the person we had been talking about was sitting right there. He was sitting right there. And I walked up to him and I was like, "Oh my gosh." And that was serendipity in action. You understand? That's serendipity. And it got me thinking about how I would like to live 2026. Like, I want more of that. I want more of those kind of things to happen to me. I want to be able to just, have things happen without having to work too hard for it. Now, I also have a child, my son, when he was growing up, those kind of things happened to him all the time. We could walk into a store and it would be like, "Oh, you are number 207. Lucky you win the prize." We would go anywhere and it would win something just because he showed up. So I started thinking about this concept. Is this accidental? Is this just one of those things that happen in life? But can it be harnessed? So I started studying it. I started studying about serendipity. I studying synergy, started talking about symbiosis, and started thinking, well, and then I learned some things that it actually can be learned, that you can train your life to actually experience this more often than not. And so this is what I want to share with you today. So welcome to Thrive 2026. We're going to focus on serendipity today. It is not luck. So take that out of your mind. This is not luck. It's not something, no. Serendipity is a skill. We are going to be trained on it today. You can train it. You can build habits that actually make unexpected breakthroughs more likely. This is something that is well documented, well researched in this world. So here is what I want you to do right now. Is everybody with me? Unmute yourself and let me hear you say yes, yes, or put it in the chat box. Are you with me?
Yes.
Are we in
Yes.
Yes.
agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if we're in agreement, I want to hear those yeses. I want to hear thank you, hands up, love, do something because I don't want to be in this by myself. Yes, thank you for the love. That's what I want to see today. You
Yes.
understand? All right.
Yes,
This
I'm
is
here.
okay. All right. Now we need to get on this boat together. All right. I want us
Mhm.
to be together on this because I'm so excited. I'm sure you can feel it because I am going to be listening to this recording myself. Right. Here is what I want us to do right now. I want you to take a deep breath. Inhale. Let your shoulders drop. Exhale. Do that again. Inhale. Drop your shoulders and exhale. Do it one more time. In our Kadasile model that I'm teaching right now in jars, we have a breath work called the lion's breath. All right. The lion's breath is an African breath work. Okay. It's called the lion's breath. And so what you're going to do is you're going to inhale. And when you exhale, you're going to roar. Okay. So you're going to go, ah. All right. You're going to, oh, somebody's trying to call me while I'm on this. How do I put my phone on do not disturb? All right. Sorry, guys. All right. So what you're going to inhale. Ah, ah. Okay, let's do it. It feels good. Ah. Okay, so try it 3 times. Try it 3 times. Oh, your eye is not too, your eye's gonna, ah. It's called a lion's breath for a reason. Inhale, ha, like that. Yes, that it lets out all the stressors, guys. It's just really good, you know. So try it one more time. Okay, let me help this lady out. While you are trying to let me just I gotta help her out. Hold on. I got to but we I just have to help her out. Sorry, guys. She wants to be a part of this. I need to help her out. Forward to her. When you get a certain age, people have to help you. We have to help ourselves because sometimes we forget things. All right, here is what I want you to do right now. All right. I want you to make sure you put your phone on silent, like I just did mine. All right. Close any tabs that's going to send you notification because I need you present. All right. Give yourself permission to be fully present here. Give yourself that permission, that you're going to be fully present. This is what we're asking of you today, that you are fully with me. You're fully here. Does this make sense? Are you fully here? So, turn off the notifications or things like that. Give yourself permission to be present with me for this next 2 hours. Today is not a passive experience. You will think, you will connect, you will take actions, and by the end of today, you will leave with your a clear system for creating more in your life. More of whatever it is that you want. All right. So what are we building? What are we building? What do you want to build? All right. So Thrive 2026 is built around that triad that I showed you. The triad that nurtures authentic growth, that drives real growth. So it's not just a personal thing. You can use this in your business. You can use this in your relationships. All right. So I'm hoping there's some business people here today. You can use this in all areas of your life. All right. Serendipity opens the door to unexpected breakthroughs. This is not something that you have planned precept by precept. It just happens. All right. Synergy is basically is aligned collaboration, that in this 2026 you're going to be aligned with people and in places where real stuff happens. All right. That it multiplies what you can do that if you were doing it by yourself. Symbiosis is creating relationships where every one of us brings our strengths together and we grow stronger together. But day one, which is day one today, is about what happens when you stop forcing and start moving with openness. How many of you work really hard in life? You try so hard, like you're investing and you're making things happen and you're doing this and you're doing that that's me. I work hard, all right? But in 2026, that is not what I want. That is not what I want. All right. I want to have things happen. All right. Serendipitously. And I can tell you in this January alone, I've started experiencing it. All right. So this about stop forcing things, stop working so hard and moving into spaces with openness. All right. So I want you to hear me very clearly. This is what I want you to hear from me. You do not need to wait for the perfect plan. All right. You do not need to wait for the perfect plan. You just need motion. Have you ever heard people who testify? They're giving you this testimony, and they're telling you, I started doing this, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. It's because they're in motion. It's because there's motion. You are in motion. You need openness. You need doors to open. So you have to be in motion. Does that make sense? All right. So the very first concept I want to teach today, and I want to share with you, and I want us to be in alignment in this, is called attention economics. I am not an economics person, but you will understand this in a minute. Attention economics. What is that about? Attention economics. So let's talk about this concept. It's attention economics, which means your attention is a currency. Your attention is a currency. The ability to pay attention is a currency. You spend it every day. We all spend it every day. You invest it every day. And a lot of us just give it away, right? What you give attention to grows. Whatever you pay attention to multiplies, it grows. Most people miss their breakthrough moments. Most people miss their serendipity moments because they are too distracted. When you're distracted by different things, you can be distracted by the things that are going on in your lives. You can be distracted by stuff that has happened to you. You can be distracted by what you invest your time in. You're scrolling through the internet. You're multitasking all the time. You split attentions into 10 different places. Every time you do that, you cannot recognize the opportunities when they show up. By the way, those opportunities are always there. Serendipity is not scarce at all. It happens all the time. We're just not aware of them because we are too distracted by the things that we put in our lives. And sometimes you want to be distracted. This time last year, I was in ICU rooms, with my brother, and a lot of the time I would sleep there, and I would try to distract myself by just scrolling, doing things, can't pay attention. When you have your goals in different places or your attention in different places, you can't notice things around you. So we've all been there. We've all been there. I'm just hoping in 2026 we can all bring it together. We can all bring it back home. All right. And begin to say, okay, how do I want to play this year? Serendipity requires attention. In fact, we're all going to say that word together. Serendipity. Unmute yourself and say with me on the count of two. Are you ready?
Yes.
One. Okay.
Two.
One,
Seven.
two. Serendipity.
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 Aha.
Serendipity
Serendipity.
I didn't
requires
All
spell
right.
it.
attention.
All right. Serendipity requires attention, not
Serendipity.
perfection. Not perfection. You don't have to have all your rows lined up All right. That is not it. It literally requires attention. Attention to one thing. There's a scripture that says, if your eye be focused, if you can just get it focused on one thing, right? So here is our first practice today. Here's our first practice. I want you to protect your attention during this workshop. Okay? Protect your attention like it matters. Like protect it like it matters. Don't get distracted. Protect your attention like it matters. Practice it now because I want you to practice it the entire year. So practice it now. Protect your attention. All right? Uh, those of you who are just joining us, please tell us where you're located. All right. Now, I want you in the chat box, everybody, type in the chat one word that describes what steals your attention the most. Just one word. What is it that steals your attention the most? One thing that steals your attention the most. Put it in the chat box. Put it in the chat box. What is the one thing that steals your attention the most? Put that in the chat. We have people from across the globe here today. Let's see what is just one thing. Don't tell any stories, just one thing that takes your attention the most. Let's see. Oh, you guys have been writing. Internet, stress, multitasking. Yeah, especially women. That's something. Family, my phone, curiosity, TV, stress, social media, projects, and on and on and on and on. Is a lot of multitasking, a lot of projects, a lot of phone. You can see have you ever have you ever started scrolling the social media and you check the time and you've been on there for like an hour, you've or more, right? It's such a time waster. Um, I lately I haven't been on it as much as I used to be. Um, in fact, the last few months, the last few maybe 6 months or so, I haven't really participated in social media. So when my brother passed, a lot of you don't know that, but my brother passed in July, and I ventured on social media maybe in August or something to share something, and it felt like as if I was entering a new world. When somebody that you love dies, you want everything to stop. It's like, stop, everything stop, everybody stop. But when you go on social media, you just like the life doesn't stop. Everything is still there. Everybody's still participating. So it felt as if I was entering like you're trying to cross a freeway and there's all these cars and you don't even know where to enter it, right? So I kind of just stepped back, and I haven't been in it for a while, for a bit. But I'm going to begin again shortly. But it can be very distractive. It can take your time. You're scrolling through it. Some people talk about family. Some people talk about life. Some people talk about illnesses. Those are some of the things that could distract you, right? But I thank you for sharing the one thing. So, and as you can see, a lot of the things you shared are common themes. Most people are experiencing the same thing. Okay. But here's the thing, if you can name it, you can interrupt it. If you can name the distraction, it means that you can interrupt it. And when is the best time? When is a better time to do that? Right? Now, 2026, you're just starting. All right. So serendipity is a skill. Let's define it very clearly. Serendipity is an unexpected opportunity that becomes a breakthrough because you recognized it and responded to it. All right. It's an unexpected opportunity. That opportunity has been there, by the way, but that becomes a breakthrough because You recognized it and responded. I like to share, stories from scripture. So some of you who are Muslims here, bear with me. You also probably have it in your Quran and stuff. There's a scripture of the patriarch Abraham who was climbing up a mountain, a hill to kill his son. Mute yourself, please. Mute yourself. And my team, please help me mute. So there's a story of this guy, Abraham, who is climbing up the mountain to kill his son, right? Offer him as a sacrifice. All right. At the point where he takes the knife to kill his son, Isaac, there's, he was told to look and he recognized that a ram was caught in the tree in the bush there, and he took the ram and killed the ram instead. That is a serendipitous moment because what happened is that he recognized an opportunity and he responded to it. The point is, the ram didn't just show up. The point where it took the knife to kill offer his son as a sacrifice, that ram had been there. In fact, some people said the ram was walking up the hill as he was walking up the hill, right? So the ram, but he didn't recognize the ram because he was too distracted by this other thing that he was going to do. So the opportunity was there, but there was no recognition or a response to it, if that makes sense. So the opportunities are always there. The answers are all around us. The answers are all around us. Some people think, they pray today and all of a sudden God rains something down and gives it to you, and then you have your answer. The answer is always there. We just need to be able to recognize it and respond to it, right? So serendipity has two parts. Somebody still needs to be muted, by the way. Serendipity has two parts to it. First, something unexpected to you shows up. All right. Number two, you have to do something with it, right? So something unexpected, you have a response. People love the first part. The first part is they love the idea that, oh, something magical is happening. Oh, something unexpected is happening. Unexpected money, unexpected love, unexpected this, something unexpected is happening to you. But the second part is what actually changes our lives. If you do see it and you recognize it, are you going to respond to it? There's a prayer in Ephesians that says that the eyes of your understanding will be flooded with light. I love that. I pray that almost every day. That the eyes of my understanding will be flooded with light. Basically, it means that I can see what other people are not seeing, that I can recognize my own when they come to me, that I can recognize my time when it's my time. I can recognize my purpose when it's my purpose. If this is making sense. The struggle is that we don't see when we should be seeing. We don't hear when we should be hearing, and we don't respond when we should be responding. So what is your response? The second part is change, is the change. Sometimes you see it, but then you don't respond to it. So today we're going to train your response. All right. If you're in the first category and you don't even recognize it, and you not recognize this opportunity, it means that you are too distracted. And the first thing I'm going to suggest to you is decide not to be so distracted in 2026. Your eyes have to be focused. If you want to be a writer, you want to publish a book this year, or you want to do something, all you want to see is right. You want to read books, you want to learn books, you want to learn writing, and that is what you want to do. If you want to be a painter, that's all you're going to see. You're going to meditate on it. You're going to enter into it, and you're going to start seeing painting opportunities everywhere that you go. Right? So that is how you get that first part of it. First of all, your philosophy of life has to change in that area. You instead of you thinking that you're in line for something, waiting for something to happen, that you are in motion and that you are um, going to come into contact with opportunities in 2026. Opportunities for you, opportunities that you have been thinking about. And if you're thinking, well, I don't even know, I don't even have any real goals or stuff, then find one. Find one, whatever that goal is. If it's just to be someone who is more loving, somebody who operates in a peaceful state, those are all goals we can all want to strive to become. All right. So there's something called the serendipity gap. The serendipity gap. Before I go on, who can remind me of the first concept or the first term that I explained?
Attention.
Oh, yeah, 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 you're close. The very first term that I explained to you all.
Attention economics.
Ah, thank you. Yes, you just went complete. You started the first person who responded, you just needed that last part. All right, so this second one, right, with the serendipity gap. Once a teacher, always a teacher. So I like teaching. So here you go. So the serendipity gap, right? I want to become the biggest reason people, whatever your goal is in life, whatever it is, tell you, I want to name I want to do this, I want to do this. Everybody has it, but you're not getting whatever that is. All right. So the biggest reason that people miss their moments. So you've been saying, oh, I want to do this. I really want to, I want to have this time where I get to speak to 100 people or whatever it is, whatever it is, whatever it is, you know. But people miss their moments. Whitney Houston has a song that I love. It's One Moment in Time. It says, give me one moment in time where I can be all I'm supposed to be, where I can just flow, right? That moment in time. So the biggest reason people miss their moments, okay, it's called the serendipity gap. Serendipity gap. The serendipity gap is the space between opportunity and action. The space between opportunity and action. Has something ever occurred to you? You've had this creative thoughts. Oh, I want to do this, but you don't do anything about it. And a few years down the drain or a few months down the line, you see somebody else doing it. Has that happened? Let me know. Am I talking to myself? Has that ever happened? Oh, you have this beautiful idea. You don't do anything about it, but you see somebody else living that idea. Has that happened to you?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
it's happened to all of us. You have
Yeah.
breakthrough moments. Do you know this this World Wide Web? Well, I was listening to some Christians talk about this. Apparently, some Christian brother years ago had a vision or something about WWW, and he thought it was something that he described it in some Jesus way, in some Christian way. He did nothing about it. But here we go. All right. So these things happen. Look, opportunities are everywhere. The skills and talents are evenly distributed across the globe. Nobody has an onus to opportunities, right? I want so this serendipity gap that we're talking about is the space between opportunity and action. And this is one thing I tell my children. It sounds like you're young now, but by the time you blink, you're 40 years old. You're this year. I'm going to be 60 next year, right? I don't even understand that. I don't get it. I'm like, how did I when did this happen? You know, when did this happen? But by the time you blink, you're already at an age where your parents were and you were calling them old. Do you understand? So opportunities shows up. Then fear shows up. And fear doesn't show up sometimes it doesn't show up in like, oh, I'm afraid. It shows up in your doubts. It shows up in your delay. Shows up in your doubt. It shows up in your delay. And after that, that moment closes. It closes. If you've lived long enough, you understand what I'm saying. If you've lived long enough, you understand what I'm saying. That those moments will close. So a lot of people do not fail because they lack talent. They fail because they wait too long. Do you understand me? So today, we're going to shrink that gap. The good news, again, is this. There are always more opportunities. So just because you lost one opportunity doesn't mean you won't get another opportunity. Do you understand? Especially if you're going to work this thing that we're teaching you today. You're going to work it out. You're going to work through it. Number one, you need to conserve your own attention currency. You want to make sure that you're investing it properly. You need to be focused. Don't get distracted. No matter how young you are, you know how old you can start today. All right. We want to shrink the gap. We want to be able to shrink that gap today. We're going to train you how to shrink the gap. All right. So we want to train you to movement. All right. And we'll do that in a minute. Wait, you need to be open, guys. How do you shrink the gap? You need to be able to, three things. It's called open, notice, and respond. Open, notice, and respond. Open, notice, and respond. Open means that you stop forcing. Just stop forcing. Stop forcing things. Is enough. Yeah, put it in the chat box. Enough. I'm tired. Stop forcing. It's enough. Okay? But you're going to create space for something new. Create space for something new. So open means I am going to stop forcing things. I'm going to stop being you know, the strong man who has to make everything work. You just stop forcing things. But you're going to be open to opportunities. I'm going to be open to new things happening to me. I'm going to be open to experiencing new things. I'm going to be open to the new. I'm going to be open to the new, wherever that's going to take. So, are you going to be open? All right. Then, so open, then you're going to notice. Notice means pay attention to signals in real time. A good example is that we all know or you've read about. There was this man called Moses, and he was trying to go about his life. He was a runaway, he was hiding, he was doing all this stuff, and he was just doing his life. He was on the second act of his life. He went from a prince, now he was a shepherd, and he was trying to take care of his kid, his wives, and his all of that. He was just doing life. He was just doing life. And he was moving around. It looks like I'm frozen, but I hope you can still hear me. And he was, can you guys still hear me? Can you guys hear me? Okay, you can hear
Yes,
me.
ma'am.
Uh,
Yes, we can hear you.
and that picture of my
Yes.
being frozen is just not okay. This somebody taught me that I should just turn it off and turn it back on. Okay, so let's do that. Oh, it's just not letting me turn it off and on. Oh, okay. Now I'm back. Thank you. All right. So I'll send the story right. So Moses is going around, is just going about his life, is trying to just make, make ends meet. He was going to do his thing. And then he saw something. There was this fire somewhere. Imagine if he hadn't stopped to pay attention to it, right? But he did. So these three things happened. He was open for something new, something was going to happen today. Then he noticed it, so he paid attention to the signal. He paid attention to the signal. We're always getting signals, but we're too distracted to notice the signals. We need to stop being distracted so we can notice those signals. It could be something you read that just brought something up. Something somebody said. It could be you were just thinking and it just came up. It doesn't matter. Begin to pay attention to the signals. Some of you, your children have been giving you signals, you're not paying attention to them. Your body has been giving you signals, you're just not paying attention to it. We need to pay attention to signals in real time. In real time. Then respond. Respond means that you take action while that window is open. If you take the action after that window is closed, then you work too hard. Does that make sense? That's when you're trying to beat the doors down, when you're trying to do all of that. It doesn't mean that window will not open, but then you are going to invest so much more than when you go with this flow. Be open. Make sure you notice signals and then respond to them in real time. It's a very simple system, but it's not a soft system. It is not something you want to take for granted. It is simple. A lot of the breakthroughs, when you begin to study all of these people who have done great things and stuff, they follow this system. I'm not telling you to drop out of school or anything, but think of all of this, the Facebook guy, that guy, all of that. When they dropped out of school, they realized something was happening, and they needed to respond to it right away. So when you respond, you might go against the flow. When you respond, it might not be something that is traditional. When you respond, people might look at you like you're crazy. It is powerful. It demands honesty. It demands courage. It demands movement. That means you need to do something. All you have to do is respond to it. Oh my goodness. There's this guy that, oh, what's his name? He writes these books about patterns in how things happen in life. When you look, things don't just come in one, they come in groups. That you can go through, different times in life when things have happened, the breakthroughs have happened, and this have happened, and you see that people kind of move, people gravitate there's a faith movement, there's a science movement, there's a this movement. All of those movements happen because people are responding to a flow, right? So something is also happening now. But we can be distracted with politics. We can be distracted with, economics of the time. We can be distracted with a lot of things that are hopeless. Some of us are so distracted by what is going on in Washington or what's going on in your part of the world, with all of that. And your breakthrough is passing you by because you're focused on something else that is not your stuff. So let's bring it back. Let's bring it back home today. All right. So I want you to type in the chat box right now which part you struggle with the most. Is it the open? Is it the notice? Or is it the respond? Which one do you struggle with the most? Is it the open? Is it the noticing it? And is it the responding to it? What's your part? My part, as always, historically being the respond. to it. Sometimes I'll think I have the time, I have all the whole time to respond to it. But no, no, you don't. You really don't. So tell me in the chat box. I'm not alone in this. So tell me in the chat box, what is your response? I'm going to give you a moment where all this came into fruition for me, and it just worked perfectly like this. It was in 2019. So 2019, let me see all of you because I don't see your faces now. So let me see. All right, so let me see all of you. Okay, you're all still there. Okay, because I was feeling lonely a little bit. So in 2019, I was uh I had resigned from a full-time job and all of that because it was just my quality of life was zero, really. I wake up at 6:30. I would not come back home till like late at night. I was in charge of two campuses. I was VP over two campuses in two different cities. I was in Ontario and I was in San Diego. I was living in hotels. It was just not working. All right. And so when I did, I said I was going to take on my JARS education business and started private practice and start doing all of this stuff, right? So I got an office. Are you all with me? I got an office and I set up my thing and I was just, trying
Yes,
to
ma'am.
advertise, trying to do this. And I had like maybe one or two clients. That was it. 2019, I had like one or two clients, nothing was happening, but I was setting things up. I was just, I was doing the things that I knew to do. I was putting together curriculum, I was doing stuff in mental health, I was just putting things together, right? And then that's what I was doing. And then I think I was in Nigeria that year, and I just started noticing things. I started noticing things. Because I was so focused on this mental health, space, and I was just thinking about it and all that. And so I came to Nigeria and I started noticing mental health gaps. I'll talk to people, they'll tell me, oh, they did this, and I was like, wow, there's such a huge gap here. What is happening? Nobody's doing anything about this. So I just said in my heart, I would like to help. I'd like to be part of the, of filling this gap. People will tell me things like, oh, um, nobody's going to pay attention to that. Nobody's going to this. We had been working on education side in Nigeria. We had been trying to break through into education, and they just took us in circles. We're trying to help, but nobody was listening to us. So in 2019, I all of a sudden was going into this mental health stuff and noticing a lot of things. So I was opened and I noticed and I decided to respond, right? And I remember being at a gathering, and somebody came up to me, one of my friends, and is a pastor, and he came up to me and he said, Dots, I came here for you. I was like, really? He said, so come on, tell you something. So he took me out and he said, um, something big is about to happen with you, and be prepared for it. And it's in this mental health space. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. But I was ready because I just saw the gap and I was just ready for it. And so, but nobody knew, fast forward to 2020. 2020, COVID happened and we were all kind of just locked in our places. But did you know that JARS, that was literally the beginning of our African campaign and a mental health across the globe? It was literally our busiest year. Things just took on its own thing. We were ready for it. We responded. We were ready for it, if that makes sense. Not, it wasn't like we had all the resources. It wasn't like we had all the staff. In fact, Binky and I were the only two people. Binky and I hired Binky to help me, and we were the only two people who made up the entire structure you know and we were ready for it. We were overwhelmed at some point. We had to go hire other people, But we were ready for it. We were open, we were able to notice that there was a gap, and we were able to respond, right? Somebody might say that was luck, but it was an opportunity that was there for everyone, for everybody. But we were positioned at that time. If we had not entered at the time that we did, it would have been so much more difficult later on. You understand what I'm saying? So those of you who have typed in, where you open and you notice or do you respond? All of us have one or two of those things. But let me check what you wrote because I haven't seen it. So let me see. Let's see, let's see, let's see. Courage, movement, action. Okay. Okay, 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 okay. All right. So some of you have one or two things, some of you have one thing. Oh, somebody said, how do you respond positively? That's a good one. All right. Let me answer that question. So, how do you respond positively? So I am thinking that that question has to do with the person's emotional state. All right. Now, if person's emotional state, if you are not in a good place, it is difficult to respond positively. Okay, if you're not in a good space, it is difficult to respond positively. So the first thing is if you're not in a good state, please get well first. Okay, and I don't mean be perfect. I just mean like we have something called grounding skills, grounding techniques. Make sure you can practice those. All right. Grounding techniques means that what can I do to be able to be in control of these emotions that have taken a hold of me. And if you're struggling with that, contact us. We'll set you up with other people who can help you. All right. Now, um, one of the things that you can do is practice this breath work that we did earlier today. Make sure you practice it and then begin to change your um your your philosophy, your worldview. That's the word I'm looking for. Begin to change your worldview about things. I was telling a client the other day, you guys have heard of the placebo effect, right? This might help somebody. You've all heard of the placebo effect, right? The placebo effect is we have two groups, right? This group, maybe we're going to see if Tylenol works, right? So this group, we're going to give them Tylenol. But this other group, we're going to give them sugar pill. All right. But we will tell them it is Tylenol, right? In a lot of the research that uses placebo effect, they're still going to find that the placebo group also reacts like the other group, right? Because they believe they're taking Tylenol. So this effect also works in social sciences, but they did a study on perfect fits, a perfect fit. So this study was, they just told people that they were married to their perfect fits. They just told them you're married to your perfect fit. They took a questionnaire this and they told them that they were married to their perfect fit. That's not true. They just said it. And people thought, oh wow, these researchers know what they're doing. So I am with my perfect fit. Marriages that were not doing well, all of a sudden started doing well. Relationships that were not doing well started doing well because people were like, oh, if we're meant to be together, then none of these other things matter. Right? So the placebo effect really matters. It's the brain over the mind, over the reality. And so, why am I bringing this up? In one of the ways you can also change your mind is to do those personal experiments about life. So you can say, all right, I have been sad for too long. I have been in this place for too long. I am going to just do a placebo experiment on myself and believe that I am in a place where good things are going to happen to me. What do you have to lose? Nothing. Good things are going to happen because things are good. Have you ever heard of the miracle question? So the miracle question is, if you wake up tomorrow and you're in your ideal world, the best world that you can be in, what does it look like? So you're going to live your miracle life. So I challenge some of you today, to just decide that I'm going to live my best life in this world. I am in my best world. 2026 is going to be a time where I'm open, where I'm able to notice, where I'm able to respond. That's what 2026 is going to be to me. You understand? So I'm giving you all those examples to say that you can literally meditate yourself into a new state. You can make a decision that I'm going to be in this new state of serendipity. Now, Winifred, is your hand up answering yes to the miracle question, or is it for a question?
Sorry, it's for a question. I was the one who wrote that question, and I didn't mean internal emotions. I meant that how do you know that your response to what you are observing is positive, is in the right direction? Because you said be open to opportunities, notice them, but then you respond. But sometimes when you respond, the solution you have to your observation may be way off. So how,
Yeah.
because I really believe timing matters. When you are, yes, some people respond immediately, and and they become one of those few who break through and change the whole world. But I believe timing matters. So the bottom line is, how do you know that your response to what you are observing is the right one, and that you are
Right.
not going you are not kind of putting the cart before the horse or something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that question, because that actually happened to us. It's our story. It's our Josh story. I believe I am it's a lot of things also that is predicated on your belief system. I believe that when the student is ready, the teacher shows up. I believe that once you're ready, the response you will you there's some when we're going to talk about what you do during your response. All right. And the response is not just a oh, I'm going to respond, I'm just going to do something. No, you have to put thought into it. You have to research it. You have to, and then you have to do something, right? When we responded, our initial response was to go, like I was saying, I think it was to go through the education the education part of it. All right, that's how we responded, because I just figured I'm a professor. It just makes sense to go through it through that space. But when the student is ready and you're moving towards something, e- everything is going to guide you to where you need to be. That's how miracles happen. That's how breakthrough happens. You understand? So, well, the doors were not being opened there. Things were happening. And in this space, you're not supposed to be working too hard. So once that happened, two or three people, even more than that, said to me, that is not have you thought of going this other route? Have you just thought of doing this mental health thing just by itself? Da 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 da. And we decided to you have to be flexible enough to adjust. So it doesn't mean that your first response will be the authentic and the one that brings the breakthrough. It just means that you are taking a step towards it. You're taking a step towards it. So that response, you need to be flexible. You need to be flexible enough to pivot. You need to be flexible enough to say, oh, okay, let me move it this way a little bit. Let me move it that way a little bit. You need to be flexible. You understand? And so that is what I'm going to say, that don't let perfectionism stop you, because that's what usually stops people. They want it to be perfect. They want to da 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 da, right? No. And then there's some other things we're going to share, because this thing will not make complete sense until you hear all the other stuff. But to your to your to win its question is respond, do your own research, do your own things, and then respond, but be open to feedback, be open to pivoting. So once you are open, notice and response, it's not a one-time occurrence. So you have to keep being open, You have to keep you have to keep noticing and you have to keep responding. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I respond to this by saying, okay, I'm going to start bringing guests on who are going to talk about mental health and stuff. Then all of a sudden, I started noticing that, wait, there's something deeper going on here. I watched Dr. Burke, who talked on adverse childhood experiences. I must have watched that thing like 500 times. I kept looking at it and it's just messing with me. Like I'm watching it, adverse childhood experiences, and I was like, how come I haven't heard of this? Why am I just hearing about it? I took the research, I combed through the research. I was just reading through the whole thing, and I'm just thinking, this is the holy grail. This is what we're missing in mental health. Why isn't anybody talking about trauma in this way? That's how I began just digesting everything I could find on trauma, taking this trauma course, getting specialized in this way because I listened to that 16-minute TED talk, literally just changed my entire life. And then I started looking at my own life and I was thinking, wow, so that was traumatic. That was the trauma. That was the trauma. That was the trauma. And I was like, my life as a parent, oh my God, I've messed up my children. All those things were going through my mind. I was just, oh my God, I've messed them up. I didn't notice this. I didn't notice that. And I had to bring the family together. I had to say, look, guys, I have just screwed up. Like this is just so messed up. And they were like, Mom, you didn't screw up, you didn't mess up. I'm like, okay. Tell me your experiences as you were growing up. And they started sharing things to me. We cried, I apologized to them in some of the things. And then I said, okay, we need to heal. So this wasn't just a professional thing for me. It changed my entire life just because I took one step and I took another step. Do you understand? And so that's how things happen. You have to be flexible enough to make sure that things begin to happen. And we're not done. We're still being open. We're still noticing and we're still responding. Mrs. Alexander.
I just want to say it's about taking a step of faith. I'm not saying it in a religious way, but it's like, okay, let me just try and go into this, like taking a step of faith and see how it goes. And then from there, things can change, things can evolve, things can come through the way you want it to come through.
Yeah, thank you. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Yes, absolutely. You take a step towards it, noticing it, making sure that you're open to it, making sure that you notice it, and making sure that you respond. All right, so let me move on because I want to make sure I get you out of here. In this, is everybody with me? Let me hear you, please. Are you still with me? Are you still present?
Yes,
Let
we
me
are.
see the
Yes,
love.
yes, we
Let me
are.
see the
Yes, we
yes.
are.
I am here.
Okay.
We're here.
I know that, and I
I'm
know
here.
that thank you, and I know that my video is messing up today, so it'll get there when it gets there, as long as you can hear me. And so awareness is your starting point. Awareness, just to be aware that these things are happening. There is there is answers all around us. There is substance all around us. There are opportunities all around us. We don't have to be world changers. It's not the matter of you want to change the entire world. You just want to change your world. You understand? And you just want to do it. It might just be you want to change your family. It might just be you want to change yourself, but it is all around us. All right. So the next one I want to talk about is called the next concept is called emotional risk tolerance. All right. Somebody should please write it in the chat box. Emotional risk tolerance. Emotional risk tolerance. All right. You please write in the chat box while we wait for this Zoom to do its thing. All right. Emotional risk tolerance. And what is that? All right. Emotional risk tolerance is your ability. Oh, I'm back. Oh, yeah. It's your ability to feel discomfort without shutting down, without avoiding, without retreating. Okay. It is, let me say that again. It's your ability or my ability to feel discomfort because change is uncomfortable, people. Change is uncomfortable. The reason why most people don't never venture out is because once they start feeling discomfort, once they start feeling uncomfortable, they shut down. All right. It's the ability to feel discomfort without shutting down, without avoiding, and without retreating. We're no going back. Let's all say that. No going back. Unmute yourselves. No going back. No retreating.
No
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 retreating, no
going
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 back.
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 No
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 retreat.
going
retreating.
back, no retreating.
Yes, 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 yes. All right. We're not shutting down. We're not avoiding in 2026. We're not retreating in 2026. We're not shutting down. We're not avoiding, and we're not retreating. All right. So serendipity often comes with discomfort. You're going to feel uncomfortable this year. Because you're not used to it. It's going to come with discomfort. It's going to come with uncertainty. And some of you who are perfectionists are going to find this uncomfortable. It's not certain. It's going to come with uncertainty. Sometimes it comes with the fear of rejection. If I venture out and they say no, then what? The other part of that question is if you don't venture out, then nothing changes anyway. If they say no, then nothing changes. So you have nothing to lose. Sometimes it comes with the fear of looking foolish. You know, I remember I did my first TikTok live. I don't know when it was. I think it was, when did I do this personality thing? And it's Esther. Esther is my social media person. I don't go on TikTok that much. I think I probably have like, I don't know, 300 followers or something. I'm not usually on there. But she was like, God, I wanted to do something on personality disorders. And she said, why don't you do a TikTok live? I was like, oh my God, a TikTok live. That thing that people do and they have all of these followers that come in there. I don't have that many followers. I don't even know this, but she was on me. I said, okay, I'll do it. Do you understand? And it was 10 days, it was 9 days, but we did 10 days total because we're looking at all of the personality disorders, right? So this is waking up every day to get on a forum that I'm not comfortable with to do something live. I don't know who is going to show up. I don't know who is not going to show up. That was very uncomfortable. I thought it was just going to it's just going to be weird. But it ended up being so much fun, right? So sometimes your fears, you just have to face them, right? You just have to face them. And then we got new followers from it. So you just have to face them. And so you're gonna fear looking foolish. So what? Who cares? You're going to fear being the rejection. Well, if you don't do anything, you're going to be the same person anyway. So when opportunities appears, listen to this. Your nervous system has a vote. Anytime opportunities appear, your nervous system also will react. If your nervous systems believe that it is unsafe because it's not used to it, you're going to hesitate, you're going to delay, and you're going to overthink. Okay? So it's not just a faith matter. It is a nervous system issue. So we're not just thinking about building strategies today. We're talking about building capacity. So today's not about strategies. It's about building the capacity to be able to move forward. Here's the truth. Your breakthrough is often on the other side of your feelings, the feelings you're trying to avoid. That might not be a fully formed thing in your mind. But it is. Your nervous system sometimes is going to win. Because if your nervous system is saying, huh, mm, this doesn't sound like something immediately you're going to retreat. Immediately you're going to overthink it. Immediately you're going to feel some kind of way. All right. So it is serendipity is always on the other side of of how you're feeling. Okay. So take a deep breath right now and just sit with that for a few minutes. I mean, a few seconds. Just sit with that. Your opportunity in 2026 is on the other side of your nervous systems, of how well your nervous system is balanced, how well it's balanced. So, your nervous system is actually very easy to balance, guys. All right? Just do a little Google search on how to balance your nervous system, and it'll tell you little things. They do things like singing in the shower. Do good things like, doing a little bit of tapping, little things like breath work, things like dancing, things like just do a Google search. It will show you how to balance your nervous system so that it's not constantly preventing you from seeing and doing what you're supposed to do. So the serendipity mindset reset. We're going to do a short reset right now. Grab a pen. I have one here. Or open your notes app. Doesn't matter. And write this sentence down, please. What am I forcing right now? Another word for that is what am I working too hard on right now? What am I forcing right now? And that word, the synonym for that is working too hard. What am I forcing right now? Write it down. Just write it down. What am I forcing right now? And then respond to it just for like 1 minute. Don't edit it, just write. Don't think about it, just write. Okay. What are you forcing right now? What are you working too hard on right now? Just write. Don't cross it out. Don't overthink it. Just write. Now write this sentence. What am I open to receiving this week? What am I open to receiving this week? Write for 60 seconds. Don't edit, just write. What am I open to receiving this week? What are you open to receiving this week? Just write. All right. Now write this sentence. What would I do if I trusted timing more? What would I do if I trusted timing more? What would I do? What does that mean? Some of you might, what does that mean? It means that if I trust that this is the right time, what would I do? What would I do if I trusted timing more? Like now is the time. By the way, in the brain network, in the human network, there is no past, there is no future, there is only now. There's only now, this moment. What if I trusted in timing more? What would you do if this was the right time? I'm going to pause for 60 seconds. Now, look at what you wrote. Circle one sentence that feels honest but uncomfortable. Look at I've given you time to write 3 things. Circle one sentence that feels honest but uncomfortable. It feels uncomfortable. Discomfort. That sentence is your doorway. That's the doorway in which you need to proceed. That's your doorway. That's what you need to proceed. There's something called your breakthrough signature. It's called your breakthrough signature. This matters because breakthrough usually have patterns. Your life has a pattern for how change arrives. If you look at your lives and you see a lot of incompletes, please decide that in 2026, you're going to change that. If you know, look at the patterns in your life. Your life has a pattern for how change arrives or how change happens in you. So here's what I want you to do. Write down 3 moments in your life that changed you. 3 moments. 3 moments in your life that changed you. They can be big moments, they can be small moments. Now we're hitting the big stuff. You know, people pay hundreds of dollars for this stuff. You know, 3 moments that changed your life. They can be big moments, they can be small, but they changed you. They were real turning points in your life. You don't have to think about it for too long because you know what they are. But take a minute and think about it. There's 3 moments in your life. Not 4 moments, not 5 moments, not 2, not 1, 3 moments that changed your life. Write them down, please. Write them down. 3 moments that changed your life. Three moments that changed your life. Okay? Now, under each moment, answer the following question. What triggered it? And you can write these questions down for you. You can go over this even after this workshop. What triggered that moment? Who was involved in that moment? Why did I ignore it at first, if you did? And what did I do next? So, what triggered it? And I'm not talking about moments like, please don't write things like when I had my child and when that's not the moments we're talking about. We're talking about moments where it became a turning point in your life when something happened to you. All right. And some of you might be when you had your child. Maybe that made you somebody else. So yeah, I can't tell you what to write. So yeah, you can do whatever. Yes, that's fine.
Could
So
you
what
tell us
triggered
those
it?
questions, one after the other, so we could write the questions down?
Well, why don't I let me put it in the chat box for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's in the chat box, guys. Oh, Joke, your hand is raised. Sorry, I didn't see that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was the one who spoke. Hi,
Oh,
hi,
okay.
Dustin.
All right, thanks. All right. So when you take a look at those moments, although this moments that we've talked about, what do you notice? Do you notice anything? Do your breakthroughs come through people? Do your breakthroughs, do they come through disruptions? That's something was disrupted in your life for that to happen. Do they come through you taking risk? Do they come through a decision you avoided for too long or a decision that you had to make? So let me ask those questions again. What do you notice? And I'm going to put it in the chat box for you too. Thank you for that makes more sense. You know, when you look at those moments, what do you notice? Okay. Whatever pattern you see, that is your breakthrough signature. Now, you have to decide if you're going to keep that signature or if you're going to create something different. So, my breakthrough comes through somebody say, "Oh, my breakthrough comes through God." But God uses people, uses things, places, and stuff. So, stop. Okay. So, what is your signature? Does your breakthrough come through a disruption in your life? Do they come through decisions in your life? Do they come through people in your life? Do they come through risk in your life? What is your breakthrough pattern? Okay. I am going to strongly suggest here that you keep your breakthrough pattern, whatever it is, because your system is already used to that. And this year, we don't want to fight anything. We're going to use what we have to create where we're going. Let me see. I have a few more minutes. So I think the last concept I'm going to share, the next term I'm going to share with you is called identity expansion. Identity expansion. This is something many people never name. Now you know what your breakthrough pattern is. Then we move on to identity expansion. Now, let me go back to that the breakthrough pattern. You can decide to change it because you can, the brain, the one thing we know about the brain is you can, it is malleable. It's called the brain's plasticity. And you can relearn things, but it's just going to take you long time. So I'm just strongly suggesting, based on the research and things that I've done, that you keep your signature, keep your breakthrough signature. You can make it better. All right. And so now we'll look at what is called identity expansion. Identity expansion. So basically, identity expansion means that your breakthrough requires you to become someone new. Your breakthrough requires you to become someone new because Your old identity wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you comfortable. It wants to keep you um, protected. It wants to keep you predictable. You can be predictable. We know what's going to happen tomorrow. Especially those of you who are getting older. I'm getting older. I don't want to make any changes right now. What am I? I'm good. Like I said, I'm turning 60. My goodness, no. Be predictable. It wants to keep you inside. It wants to keep you protected. It wants to keep you to what you already know, right? But this next level of your life is going to demand new behaviors. That's what we're talking about. New behaviors. Okay? So, new boundaries, new confidence, new relationships, new visibility, and if you're sticking to your breakthrough pattern, if your pattern is relationship, this new level is going to require that you meet new people or you see the people around you differently. Is if yours is risk, is going to be doing something a little bit different. So that's what this is about. So new boundaries, new relationships, new everything, new confidence, new visibility. That's what this is asking you to do. So when the opportunity shows up, you might not, you will not be prone to say no anymore.
There's a
Okay.
question on the chat.
All right. Where are my people? They should tell me, what is the question? Let me see. Can we have an example, please? All right, very good. Yes, you will get this recording. Well, we're not just going to send the recording. Please ask for it and I will send it to you. All right. So, uh, what was that question? Can we have an example, please? An example of what I'm saying, new opportunities. Is that what the question is about? Bumi?
No, the first part. The first part. The questions you asked us. What kind of things that were like defining moments for us? Um,
Oh, wow. You went all the way back. You went all the way back to the back to the back. Yeah, defining moments was you like when did your I was giving you an example of for me, for example, when I got into this campaign about trauma. That was a life-defining moment. COVID was a that period was a life-defining moment. So yours could be I remember when I decided to educate myself and beyond my bachelor's degree, I didn't just decide to get a PhD for anything. I literally wanted to change my life. So I remember that moment making that decision that I want to be somebody different. And the one of the ways I was going to go about it was doing it. So those kind of moments, I remember that I was sitting on the bed with my husband and we were talking and I was like, I want to change my life. I don't want to live. I don't want to do this. I want to do something different. I want to learn. I want to be curious about things. I was talking to him and he was just looking at me like, huh? He was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, are you satisfied with this? Is this what there is to it? Is this all you have a house, then you eat, and then is this all and I was like, and I think the only way I know how to do that is to get educated. He said, so you're not educated? You do have a bachelor's degree. I said, I don't think so. I said, I don't feel like I'm well educated. And then it was like, okay, well, do you? That started that was a defining moment in my life. That day, nothing. It was just a decision. So those are the kind of things you're looking for. Some people have moments where they decided that they were going to see the world, and in seeing the world, things begin to happen in their lives. So those are moments. Those are defining moments. Some people are doing it because they want to take risk, you know. Um, I remember another defining moment was when another defining moment was when we've been talking about this African Trauma Care Alliance, African Trauma Care Alliance, in at JARS. We've been talking about it, and people don't even know how that started. How did it start? We've been working in Nigeria, but I kept saying Africa, Africa, Africa. What was going to happen? How do we do it? And I just decided, well, I'm just going to visit African countries. And I'm just going to visit African countries and now see what they're doing with their trauma or mental health stuff in those African countries. I knew nobody there, but there is a site online that is for travel sites, and you have private private guides. All right, that was the only thing I knew, because a lot of these countries I didn't know anybody, right? So I would go on that site and I would tell the guide, they this is what I'm looking for, this is what I want, right? A lot of them would be like, huh? You want to talk to mental health governments, and what are you talking about? We just want to take you on tours, right? But I just kept doing that. And would you know, like I remember Ethiopia, that's how I met Fevin. Fevin in Ethiopia, I met her through that. And what would you know? She was also waiting and ready. She had been involved in NGOs. She had been talking to women who had been abused in wartime and stuff, but she was also doing tours on her private time, right? And then she saw me, and then she Googled me, and then she went on my Facebook, and that's how we got connected. And then in Kenya, we got connected because somebody knew somebody who told somebody that I was interested in this stuff. And then this is how these things happen. So those were defining moments when things happened with me. It's because I just took a chance. I just took a chance. I just decided this is what I'm going to do. South Africa, I didn't know anybody. And then I remembered, oh my gosh, Sade is in South Africa. So I said, okay, Shades, this is what I want to do. Da, 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 da. She was like, would you know what? We're just having a conference, and God told us He was going to send us a speaker. And the person putting this together is the ambassador, and da 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 da. And she said, we wanted somebody in mental health. That's how they brought me to South Africa. So I'm just saying those moments happen because of decisions. It also because I love taking risk. So those are my patterns. You need to find what yours are. And yours might not be a big thing like that. It could be something small. It could be because you have connections to people. It could be because you thought of somebody and you called them and God helped you change that person's life. You need to figure out what that signature is for you. All right. Somebody whose hand is that? I need my glasses at this point now. Joke.
Yeah. Hi, Doctor. Mine's a bit of a question remark. Essentially, mine is clearly disruptions. Oh, so clearly, ever so clearly disruptions. And so naturally, all the three were disruptions. So that was crystal clear. And so my question to you would be, and so that would naturally now be a pattern that I see that I evolve in my new person.
Right.
And so my question would be, I've got so many things I'm doing. Oh my goodness, so many. Again, because we evolve each and every time inadvertently, if that makes any sense, without knowing it. So let me just give an example. I want to go on missions, right?
Mhm.
I want to learn a new business, right? I just turned 60. Okay. So some people will say, oh, it's about the 60, but I don't really think so. I think it's just about the disruptions you're talking about, because each and every time new things would happen in my life, it would be disruptions. Now,
Mhm.
concerning the missions, for instance,
Mhm.
my question would be, how do I overcome the issue of finance? Now, let me give context to that. I'm in England filing for my husband, right? For a citizenship because I'm a British citizen. And so I've retired in 2014. And so I just work from home, right? And I work from home based on my experience. So I just lost a job a few days ago. I lost a job with Monzo, actually. And I wasn't paying attention. That was it. Because I was doing another business. Because I looked at it and I thought, you know what? You're paying me peanuts. That's fine. I want the peanuts for now because I've got to be with my children to be able to file for my husband. And everything just falls into place quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
But I was running another business on the other hand, straight up. And so, of course, I was distracted.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now, I'm in a place where they said to me, they said to me that I'm on suspension. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. So I'm waiting to get the outcome of that. Whichever way that runs, that's absolutely fine. Because for me, it could be the Lord saying to me, the missions you wanted to go for, now's the time. And that will be absolutely cool. Right? Absolutely cool. Because those are the things that make me tick. For instance, part of the thing for me, one of the, as you were talking to us and saying we should write, was when I started praying in tongues. When you said to us the three moments that changed our lives, I wrote my dad's death, when I shut down my business, and when I started praying in tongues. So essentially for me, this mission thing has been ringing in my brain, right? And let me cut it short. And I am on a Bible school. It's the Charis Bible College in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've done year one, and I need to do year two, and year two is on site because it's got a mission trip. So I have been praying about it, and I've been saying, Lord, I'm interested in this thing. How do we push it? How do I didn't even know I was going to lose my job then. So my question was, how do I work? Because I need the funding for it, right? I've got in-laws in America, at least two, right? Now I know Colorado is not near DC, nor is it near Virginia, right? Where they are. But I know, I need finance to swing it if I'm going to be a student in a Bible school in year
Mm-hmm.
two.
Yeah.
So now that the income is gone,
Okay. All
what
right.
what do we then do?
Actually, I'm glad you brought that question up, okay? Because that is really at the bottom of the pyramid, the finances. The first thing that needs to happen is you committing to it, committing to missions. All right. Once you've committed to it, that means it's number one is on top. The missions is on top. That is the one thing you're going to circle around. So everything is going to be about missions. So you're going to, and then there's another thing. You remember when I said about pivoting? You can't be rigid about how this is going to come about, because for you now, you're thinking your missions is going to come about in your year two of your Charis Bible school. It might not be that, and it could be that, but it might not be. So don't decide where it's going to happen, is what I'm trying to say. Pursue it, explore it. All right. Call Caris up and say, hey, I'm so interested in this missions. I just lost my job. I don't have the money to do, but I believe that this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Can somebody sponsor this? Hey, what do you have to lose? It's right there, but it doesn't have to be them. There are so many missions around the world that people that help people. As long as you're ready, as long as the student is ready, the teacher will show up. As long as you're ready and you're flexible. See, that's why I'm glad that we listen to what you have to say, because you seem to have a plan. All right, it's going to go this way. I'm going to go this way. It doesn't have to be that way at all. And that is part of what I'm talking about today. It means that you're going to move towards whatever it is and be able to pivot when you need to pivot. Be flexible when you need to be flexible. There is missions all around you, Joker. There's mission opportunities all around you. And there is the funding that's going to go with it. It's going to come across with it's going to come hand in hand with it. That is what you're going to inherently believe. And it's going to and God is going to move you towards that place. It could be this Bible school, or it could not. See, here's the thing. Are you willing not to graduate from Caris, for example? See? Are you willing to leave that alone? Because
Yeah.
that might be where the thing is. If you're willing to say no, okay, maybe I'll go to mission somewhere. But if it's them, then call them up and say, hey, I want to go on a mission, don't have the funding. What can you do? I have
Yeah.
seen people. I have a friend who whose son was in a school here. She's in Nigeria, and the conversion rates and all of that stuff happened. Everything tanked, and people were converting naira to dollars. But God, she said that this was the school that she felt that she was supposed to send him to. This son gets to the school. She was able to pay. They were able to pay the first year. Let me tell you, do you know that the next 2 years, the way things happened, anytime she tells me this story, I just open my mouth. There's this white couple that literally adopted this young guy. And one day they came to him and said, "How much do you owe in your tuition? We have money that we've been putting aside for da 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 da." They said, "God told us to give it to you." All right. $20,000. Pay the
Now,
tuition.
can I add something?
Yeah.
It's you're just amazing, and I trust that we're all mature people on this platform. Today I had a dream, and in the dream, I can't even believe it. I can't believe myself. And again, typically, as God would typically act in my instance, disrupting and just taking me out of paradigms and putting me in new ones. In the dream, my curtain, the curtain of my window caught fire, and it was glued to the pelmet. A window frame would have four corners, like a rectangle, and it was glued to it. So I was pulling it in the dream. I kept pulling it to pull it apart so the fire wouldn't spread. Next thing, Dotun, I saw a street scenario and I saw people running. You know how in Nigeria, there's fire. We're so limited like that. We would throw water at it. People would start running towards the fire. Imagine Idumota or somewhere catching fire, right?
Yeah.
That was exactly the scenario I saw in my dream. And I woke up and I called a friend of mine and I said, "Just join me in prayer." I thought it was about my job because they had said I was on suspension, and I laughed and chuckled. I just thought, I don't give a rat ass, whatever you guys do. You think, you know what I mean? You think this is what pays me? Or, I was just excited by the opportunity to work, from home, essentially, because I do HR, I do legal, I'm a lawyer, and so many other things, So we prayed together. But the part that intrigues me concerning this platform right now is that the interpretation of that dream is unfolding. Essentially, I would pray in tongues about it, asking God for the interpretation, because you think you know stuff, but you don't know jack. You know what I mean? So what you're saying to me, what kindles my interest and intrigues my mind immediately was the people I saw running to that fire. What does a curtain do? A curtain covers your nakedness. When you draw your curtains, you draw in privacy into your home. Isn't that what you do? So when you pull your curtains apart in the morning, you let in daylight, you expose yourself and all. So, as I prayed in tongues, I kept pondering over it because, again, the Spirit of God kept giving me interpretation. But more context comes to it now as you speak, because the people running towards me to try and help me put the fire out in its prime so it doesn't spread through the curtain up. I thought, who are these people? So when you talk about not being fixated about carries. Now, in my very local church, right, very, very local church, small church, there's been a talk about missions in Sri Lanka. My pastor is Sri Lankan, right? I live in Bushi. So, my heart was there. I said, "Pastor, when is it?" He says, "October 17 to 26. I said, "I'm in," because, of course, I thought I had a job, fund that, buy the ticket, be a part of the mission. I was excited. And I started praying about it. So when job loss appears to happen, I don't even know what they're going to say, because some people say to me, "Oh, that's the way." Now, I've done HR, but this is HR in the UK, so that's fine. And so I'm watching them, So some people say to me, "Oh, when they give you a probation, what did they say they're going to give me?" They said,
Okay, Joker, wrap it up. Wrap it
sorry,
up.
sorry. When they say they're going to give you have another interview, that there's a possibility they could call you back or whatever. Whatever it is anyway. But what is intriguing to me is that I saw people running towards that event. So when you say don't fixate your mind, it could come another way. You could get help, and you give this testimony of an example. It's intriguing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Winifred, I saw your hand. You got tired?
Well, she was going on, so I was like, maybe there's no time. I just wanted to explore this identity expansion more with you.
Okay.
My daughter actually spoke about this. This is quite interesting. She spoke about it in December and
Oh.
during the Christmas period because she said, Mommy, you have confused us because when we were growing up, you told us we were a global citizen. And so we thought we were global citizens. So we live in America, but we are global citizens. We can show up in any space and place. We don't claim one place. We are global citizens. And then
Mhm.
all of a sudden in 2023, you started to say you are from the Edo tribe in Nigeria. Now, for so long, you have told us that we are global citizens. Now you have gone to claim Edo tribe in Nigeria, and you've left us hanging. Because so
Mhm.
what do we claim? Because now we don't belong anywhere. And that she told a friend just this past Christmas, she was at an event, and the person said, she said she's Nigerian, she's from the Edo tribe in Nigeria.
Mhm.
And this friend who is American said, "Oh my goodness, the Edo people are witches and wizards. They are very wicked. So if so and she called grandma to ask, and she was kind of not traumatized. She was kind of, grandma, is that true? She didn't call me because I don't know much about the tribe. So my question for you is that I have started to claim this Edo tribe. You talked about visibility,
Mhm.
boundaries,
Mhm.
relationships, and confidence.
Absolutely.
I have been to Edo, the Benin city, and my parents are Benin only 4 times
Mhm.
in my life.
Mhm.
I've said to claim the tribe, but I don't feel comfortable with this claiming this tribe. I don't speak the language. I don't know the culture. And but I started to try and learn the language and speak to my mom.
Mhm.
Because my brother is a writer, Judy Dada. He writes on Facebook, and he's been sharing all this cultural. He's becoming a cultural something expert. But so he's made me now realize how important it is for my mental well-being to claim to be grounded to like a
Yeah.
community.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in terms of relationships, boundaries, confidence, and visibility, because you said the next level of your life demands these behaviors. So I'm
Correct.
like, I don't even feel comfortable with this Edo tribe.
Yeah.
Talk less of
Yeah.
going to establish relationships with
Yeah.
with people who are Edo. So I'm not
Yeah.
too sure. How do I want to explore that a bit further? Maybe not now, but
Yeah.
maybe I just wanted to just put that on the table because I'm not too sure how this fits into this claiming. Maybe I should join the Edo tribe and go back to global citizen. I
Yeah,
don't
no.
know
See,
if
when you feel that discomfort, that's where you want to go. And it's going to be uncomfortable. I remember I also had to make that kind of decision because like this is me going into Nigeria. Like I hadn't visited that country for almost 2 decades before I went. You understand? And then, they'll make fun of me, the way I talk, they did this and all of that. But I just had to get to the point that this is what I want to do, right? And I just embrace it. And you won't be alone, by the way. Once you start moving into this area of your life, you'll see people who are willing to help you. You're going to have people around you. Nobody makes this journey alone. You'll have people. I even have this guy in my life now. He's a psychologist who is Yoruba is like like the most serious thing in the world, and I've become very good friends with him. And he helps me because we have this Kadasile trauma healing model that we've just created. And he's helped me in with some of the terms. So it is important. God will, I mean, will bring people around you and you're going to learn from them, but you do your own due diligence, like research a doe, research all the stuff online, and then, maybe do something in Benin. I don't know. You can just do a visit first of all, and that's how it starts, so that we can talk about more specifics later. But I think that don't give up, please. I think that's a place that you can get comfortable with. So discomfort means that at the end of the rope you're going to be comfortable at some point. The bigger the changes, the more discomfort you feel, people. So just so we know that. I remember that when I was going to fast for 40 days, I was going to do my 40-day fast. First of all, I'm never going to do it again because it almost killed me. So I was going to do a 40-day fast. And I went into this. I'm also very spontaneous, by the way. I'm a very spontaneous person. So I just said, oh, let's do a 40-day fast. And I just thought, before you do this 40-day fast, why don't you learn about it? So how many of you remember Miles Monroe? Miles Monroe did used to do 40-day fast. Used to do 40-day fast. Um what do you call it? Teachings. So I just went online and I listened to it like like I listened to everything, and he literally led you day by day. Day one, you're gonna feel this way. Day two, you're gonna feel this way. Day three, day seven, he did everything up to day 40, right? So I knew what to expect. Do you understand? The days I was going to give up, I'll just turn to that page, day 11. What does it say? And it will tell me. And honestly, that's what I'm feeling. So just knowing what to expect. He's telling you that this is what is happening to your body. Da, 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 da. That actually was 50% of the battle for me. So that's what I'm hoping this does for you. That just going in knowing that this is what to expect will help you, step into that a little bit more, strongly, because you are expecting to be disarmed. You're expecting to have uncertainty. You're expecting that this is not going to be easy. You're expecting it. And you also know at the end of the day that you're not. And then one of the things he would say on this video is that you're not dying. You're not dying. You're going to be okay. And so the third thing I'm telling you, at the end of it, you're going to get your opportunity. At the end of it, you're going to get that you search out for. So let's round this up. Let's just finish this, guys. And I see that people have just stayed till the end of this. Okay. So I don't even remember where I was, but I'm just going to round it up. We're talking about new boundaries, new confidences, new relationships, new visibility, and that's important. You need to show up where you were not showing up before. So that's so powerful. You need to have new relationships, but there are relationships that takes you where you need to be. Don't some people are like, I can only talk to these people. No, you can, the whole world is yours. Okay, the whole world is yours. So your breakthrough might be linked to somebody who is a Pakistani. So don't say no. You understand? So new relationship, new confidence. You're going to do it like you mean it, right? This year, and new boundaries. What are your boundaries? Maybe some of you, your boundaries are this, like this. You need to shift those boundaries so that you can allow other people in. So when opportunities show up, you don't resist the opportunities. You want to resist, okay? But this new version of yourself is not going to resist. You don't want to you don't want to sabotage. You don't want to self-sabotage. You do not want to fear success. You do all those trepidations. That new identity, it demands something new from you. All right. So here's a question. Who do you need to become? Write this down. Who do you need to become to hold what you say you want? And I'm going to post it in the chat for you. Who do you need to become to hold what you say you want? And I'm excited for everyone, particularly the older ones in here, because this is a challenge for all of us. Your life is not over. Don't age is not, it's just a number. All right. Age is just a number. Who do you need to become to hold what you say you want? Let that question sit with you. Think about it. Think about what you need to do, and then begin to do it. What are you trying to control right now? What are you secretly hoping to happen? Let me ask you that again. What are you trying to control right now? What are you secretly hoping will happen? What opportunity did you dismiss too fast, too quickly? What would you do if the right person showed up today? Do you all want me to post these questions for you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay. There we go. Those are the questions you should be asking yourself. This is what serendipity training looks like. It looks like resonance. It looks like recognition. Some of you are recognizing things right now. It looks like connection. But it's that connection that's going to create the movement that we need. What we've just done is we have created our own social capital. The social capital is the value that lives inside relationships. Within this space right now, it is the trust that you've given me to speak these things to you, to share these things with you. It is the access that you've given me, that we've given ourselves to be able to gather here today to consume this. Many people want a breakthrough, but they isolate. They want support, but they don't build connections. They want growth, but they don't invest in relationships. Serendipity often travels through people. Remember the earlier story that I shared? If we hadn't gone to that mall, if we haven't said I was going to eat sushi, if we hadn't gone to that particular restaurant, if I had just stayed in my room, I wouldn't have met this person. You understand? One introduction can change your year. One conversation can shift your direction. One collaboration can multiply your impact. So today, it's not about simple mindset. That's not what we're talking about today. It's about building your social capital on purpose. It's about building it on purpose. That's what we're doing today. So when somebody gives you time, when somebody gives you their attention, somebody gives you their insight or access, it demands a response from you. You should respond to that. Don't miss this opportunity today. And tomorrow, we're going to look at synergy. We're going to take a look at synergy. So please, same time, same place, make sure you show up tomorrow. This is not a motivation. This is a training. So when we move into synergy, we will multiply impact through allied collaborations. For now, keep your promise. Follow up with yourself within 24 hours on what you're going to do and do one thing towards it. Move while that window is open, while it is hot, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. And I know there's question and answer, but I've answered some questions already.
So much.
Please, how do we get the recording? Do we send an email to somebody?
Yes, please just put it on this chat, please. If you want a recording. Actually, Bims, isn't it easier for us to just send all of them a recording? Bimke, are you here? You know what? We'll just send the recording to everyone who attended.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Because I think that's just easier.
It's easier. Yes, please.
Okay.
Ma'am,
All
can
right.
you
So,
hear me?
all right. Bye, guys.
You can hear me.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
No,
Bye.
I can't
Thank
hear
you
you.
so
Who
much.
is
Thank you.
talking?
Bye-bye.
That was
Thank you.
super.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Professor Merino.
All right. I can recognize that voice anywhere. That is
Fola Rogers
Thank
from
you.
That
London.
is Dr. Rogers.
From
I
London.
can I
Yeah.
can
Thank
recognize
you.
you, that voice anywhere. Thank you. All
Thank
right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you later.
Thank you
Please,
so
wait,
much.
tomorrow we'll be here too, and Fridays. All right.
you. Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye
Much
bye.
You're,
appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.
you are welcome. Let me see who all is here. I didn't see a lot of you, but I'm glad you all showed up. This is great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Who is that? Who is that? Oh, Prince. Who is that? Princess? Oh,
Yes.
Princess.
Thank
All
you.
right. Woo-hoo.
God
Princess,
bless you.
we're still
That
supposed
was
to meet or something,
amazing. Thank
right?
you so much. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bye.
thank you, Dotun.
You're
G
welcome.
dots.
All right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Namio. Nami. Wait, Amina, is
Yes,
that
so
you?
G dots.
Is that Amina?
It's
You?
Chica.
Is that a Chica? All my QC people showed up, Ke.
Uh,
Thank you for coming. Thank you for
G
coming.
dots.
I
Yeah,
appreciate.
take
I
care.
appreciate.
Yeah.
All right,
All
guys.
right
So
then. Bye.
I'm gonna log off now.
My
Thank you so
sister was
much.
your junior in
Bye-bye.
Queen's College.
Bye.
Who said Queen's College?
I said my sister was your junior in Queen's College.
Who?
Omidairo.
Oh, yes, of course, Fumidairo, absolutely. So how
Yeah.
come you didn't come to QC then?
I went to MG.
Oh, she had to go to MG. Of course, I know Fumidairo. I know her by name. Yeah, absolutely. All right, ladies,
Yeah.
thank you so much for spending time with me today. Auntie Grace, you're quiet, girl.
Yeah, I'm just reflecting. A lot of things
Oh,
that you mentioned actually resonate with me too.
oh, that's my auntie, eh? I love this lady like this, eh?
Yeah. But you came to London last year and you did not ask for me.
When did I come to London now?
I had
Oh, I outed myself.
you mentioned.
Yeah, so
And
me,
No. I was
you
in
know.
Geneva. I was in Geneva and I stopped. I had a layover in London.
and you did not, you kọjá níwájú ọba, you did not come back.
Well, because mo mọ̀ pé ọba máa ní kí n wá kí òun ni. Do you know we're still recording? I completely forgot we're still recording. Oh my goodness. Sorry, guys. I need
Thank
to
you so much.